Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News. Good evening to all. It is 10:06 West Coast time in Tijuana. On July 28th, the elections, the most awaiting elections. I had my top 5 elections this year. From 5 to 1, the most important elections are Panama, number 5, number 4. Had top 4, I'm sorry. Panama, number 4. Number 3 will be Mexico. Number 2 will be Venezuela. And number 1 will be the United States of America on July 28th. A magical thing happened. Something that has never happened in history in the country of Venezuela. After Americans have seen how Venezuelans have been fleeing their country because of a dictator like Nicolas Maduro. And, not only that Americans have been seeing how this dictator has pushed his people out in an exodus. A massive influx of migrants from Venezuela has been arriving to the United States and has raised some uncomfort into Americans. Like, we cannot take care of you. It's a lot of people, violence, a lot of violent people have come in and infiltrated in the most vulnerable. So people were saying, why don't you defend your country? Why don't you do anything about it? Americans were saying this. Americans were saying, why you don't defend your country? Why don't you fight for your land? And what an example they have put to every American citizen and to every citizen of the world. What they're doing right now is fighting for their lives. Not even fighting for freedom, not even fighting for their country. They're fighting for their lives right now. On the July 28th, the elections were being held. More than 9 million people, more than 9 million people voted against in the elections. And whoever comes into this live feed to be a communist and a socialist, to say this is because of the sanctions of the United States of America, and it is because of the criminal sanctions and all this kind of stuff, and giving out the idea that you're betraying your people and la raza and all this crap, that language doesn't work anymore. You progressive liberal libtard, complete incompetent imbecile. It doesn't work anymore. People are dying. And the whole country of Venezuela wants this dictator out. The whole country. More than 9 million people voted. More than 9 million. Out of the 9 million, the polls, the actual polls, the real polls, showed that 70% of the votes and the ballots and the electrical ballots and everything ballot that you can even imagine was going to Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina Machado, the opposition. Nobody has seen anything in history like this in Venezuela. People actually going out and voting right now and exercising their right and defending, not only defending their voting booths, but ultimately defending their land, defending their country. They were fighting against the collectives. The collectives, let me tell you who the collectives are. The collectives is part of the regime, the sellouts, the real sellouts, the ones that they prefer to receive a bonus from the government, a bag of food that is called clap, that they give them a pair of tunas and some deodorant, like this guy right here, Caesar, that he's a sellout, a communist socialist, sellout, that he prefers communism and socialism and radical progressivism and the things that are happening to the Venezuelan people. Every single Venezuelan wants this dictator out. It has nothing to do with the sanctions. Absolutely not. And I will ask this. I have asked all the time this to every communist and every socialist. Said, okay, let's put an example. United States releases the sanctions. Will Maduro release power if he releases the sanctions? It is exactly the same question that I will ask a communist and a socialist. If Israel cease fire, will Hamas and Hezbollah also cease fire? It is exactly the same question. And they're so dumb, they cannot answer it. Their hatred to the United States of America is so huge, but they live out of the capitalist dollar, but their hatred is so huge. On the 28th of July, the majority of the people voted. And it was a 70% majority to 30%. When it was the release of the results, I was driving. I was listening to a program with the pastor of Venezuela that, just for everybody to know, a couple of days before, I brought him into my platform, and he lives in Atlanta, and we did a prayer with all the Venezuelan people on my platform in TikTok, that the majority are Venezuelans. I got more than 500,000 followers in TikTok. The majority of them, 80% of that audience is Venezuelan. Had a large audience, basically of people that they are praying that these elections were turn out, against Maduro and kick him out. And the sad thing about it, that later that night, I was driving back. I was listening to the pastor. I was talking to him on the phone, and another friend of mine, and saying, Oscar, the results are in. And there was a total chaos on that day. Everybody was rioting. The collectives, let me tell you who the collectives are. It's a radical groups. This strategy, this thing that just happened to the United States of America, for all you progressive mercenary activists, white and Hispanic liberals, to all of you, this that you're doing in the United States of America with Black Lives Matter, with Antifa, it is a copy paste of what you do in communist countries in South America like Venezuela or like Cuba. That you use these radical groups to destabilize and to ultimately bring your narrative and your agenda as you're creating hysteria, you're a fearmonger, you are a white supremacist, a white imperialism. This is because of the imperialism, xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, pronophobic, fatphobic, racist, fascist, narcissist, bigot, neo-Nazi. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. All this stupidity language to cut the freedom of speech, you use these groups. They're called collectives, colectivos. This is a copy paste of Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They use them to destabilize and to not create peace, to create chaos. Just throwing it out there for all you progressive leftists, mercenary activists, disgusting liberals. This is exactly the same with what Maduro did on the 28th of July. He started pushing these collectives to go specifically into every voting booth and start harassing the citizens of Venezuela. There was evidence all over the place. All over the place. There was evidence all over the place. My manager, that she did an incredible job on cutting and posting of things that they were being sent to me by friends that I have in Venezuela. And ultimately, my manager was doing an excellent job. She was cutting and posting. These were the voting pools as they were released. Completely disgusting. This was the result as it was released. And it was showing that Nicolas Maduro, after the most historic elections in favor of the opposition, they don't want him. Nobody wants him in Venezuela. This is why Venezuela right now, it is going to be a failed state. Every single citizen, it is against this man. What the opposition did was that they took care of the ballots, and they ultimately counted the ballots, and they have an electrical a platform that they were working to count the ballots, and that ultimately these ballots that they were counted, they have copied all these ballots. The reality of the ballots, they have them. This guy auto-proclaimed himself as the president after not even knowing how the ballots and how the elections were going. 2 hours before, like every leftist does, they start calling themselves that, we are, we already won, we already did this, we already accomplished it. Unbelievable. Exactly like every communist, Every communist. If we go to Nicaragua, they did exactly the same thing. Juan Orlando Hernandez was not a communist, but he was a narco cartel president. He did exactly the same thing. Evo Morales in Bolivia, he did it so many times. Exactly the same thing. Look how that ended up. Diaz-Canel in Cuba did exactly the same thing. So this is actually what happened. The reality is that Nicolas Maduro did not win the election. Everybody knows. Every country in Central and South America has neglected his election, has neglected that he is the president. The international organizations, the OEA, has neglected that he won. The majority of the country around the world, they have neglected that he won. He's the only one that is auto-proclaimed himself. And of course, he blames it like all the time. Es por las sanciones criminales económicas y el yanqui y el imperialismo blanco. It's because of the criminal sanctions. And it is because of the sanctions and the criminal sanctions of the United States and the imperialistic white man. Yeah. Yeah, that's just his statement every day, every morning. Whoever believes that statement it has a peanut of a brain, really. So he lost. After he lost, sadly, this was continuing to happen. This, activity. We knew that this was going to happen. We knew that eventually, protests were going to happen. And my manager posted this post right here. I'm going to go for my post right here. This Venezuelan people are out in the streets today and protesting the elections. This is what they have confront. Now, I want to tell everybody, for every single American who has been criticizing Venezuelans to not defend their country, they're shutting every single people's mouth. Every single people's mouth right now. Every single one. Every single one who was against in telling like, no, Venezuelans do not fight for their country. Right now, hundreds of thousands of people are protesting still up at night, want justice. They want justice for this elections. Nicolas Maduro did not win this elections. Did not win at all. Everybody knows that. Every Venezuelan. The only ones that are against this are the progressive mercenary activists, liberal. Like the liberal, progressive, mercenary activist, liberal in the United States. It's the only ones that they don't believe this. Those are the ones that Palestine will be free. We support transgenderism. We support burn down the flag. Palestine would put the Palestine flag up instead of the United States flag. All these incompetent individuals that they live out of our mama's basement. All these people, they're the ones that they're defending this. And the only ones that they're fighting inside of their country are the same Venezuelan people. The same Venezuelan people. I mean, I have hundreds of friends from Venezuela. I have walked so many caravans. Just to be exact, 11 caravans I have walked with thousands of Venezuelans. I have crossed the Darian Gap 4 times. The most dangerous place for migrants, 4 times, being the first Mexican to ever cross it. Helped so many people from Venezuela from drowning. Children, migrant children, migrant women, migrant men from Venezuela from drowning. It's horrible what they're going through right now. This started happening the day after when the elections were happening. We're removing the banner of Nicolas Maduro. They're removing the banner of Nicolas Maduro. This is it's every single public figure. They know what is going on over here. And they're speaking out. Let me tell you, They're not going to leave until you understand that you lost. They're not going to leave. And I will support every single Venezuelan that is fighting right now for their freedom. This is exactly what can happen in the United States of America if you let the progressive mercenary leftists to be in government. They are not going to leave power, like Alexandria Ocasio. She doesn't want to leave. Ilhan Omar, she doesn't want to leave. Rashida Tlaib, she doesn't want to leave. They preach about the imperialistic and the imperialists, but they're the imperialists. They say the fascists, they're the fascists. All this strategy we know, man. I'm brown, I'm Mexican. I know how they work. Venezuelans were out and protesting this, and they removed this banner. Video was done by my manager also. Look at that. They went all the way up there and removed the banner. Every single banner they were removing. Look at that. These people want freedom. They're fighting for their lives. They don't want this government. Oh, yeah, it's just a couple of 20 people. Just 20, 30 people. Just that's it. That's CIA. Yeah, it's the FBI. Yeah, it's the United States trying to impose somebody over there. Yeah. It's the sanctions. Look at this. People do not want Nicolas Maduro, this dictator, to be the president anymore. They want a future. They want a better life. They want a prosperous life. Let me tell you, before Hugo Chavez, the communist, who started this disaster of the United States of the Venezuelan people, Hugo Chavez. Before that, look at this, man. They're sick and tired. Before Hugo Chavez, let me tell you, the economy of Venezuela was one of the most prosperous economy in the continent. At one particular point, it was more valuable, the Bolivar, than the dollar. Imagine how they feel. They want life back. And a lot of people, they don't understand, like, there was an incompetent individuals that they do not understand the situation in Venezuela. But let me tell you how it is. A lot of these people have not seen their parents in years. They have not seen their parents in years. And I can tell you, I have a bunch of stories like that of migrants. The other day, there was a migrant who I walked a caravan. And she was messaging me urgently on Instagram. She never does that. These people, I add them because we walked on caravans and we have been through horrible situations where they're hungry. We feed each other. We sit down. We eat each other. We just congregate. And she was messaging me, Oscar is urgent. Oscar is urgent. Oscar is urgent. So I responded, what's going on? It's an emergency. And she said, I want you to see this. No other journalist has experienced this, and I want you to experience it because you have experienced with us the suffering. So I want you to, to see another level of that. So I answered the Instagram call. Look how sad this is. And the Instagram call, it was a video call, and it was a group call, and it was her on the top. It was the bottom part. It was the person that it was there, and that was me on the other side. Guess what it was showing? It was showing a burial. She was burying her mother on a video call. There was another phone. She was telling me, crying. You see that other man right there holding another phone? That's my brother on the other line. You see that other man holding these other two phones? Those are my cousins. We are burying our mother online because we cannot go back to our country and visit our family. That's how sad that is. For all these incompetent people talking about the sanctions, it has nothing to do with it. The most important thing is that this dictator, communist dictator, has taken away more than freedom, has taken away their lives, their souls. It's sad, and it is hard to swallow when they won this election by a landslide. Huge landslide. And again, this dictator, he auto-proclaimed himself as the president. This was another video that my manager posted. They're yelling libertad. That is, libertad is freedom. This is a convoy of people. There was in the streets of Venezuela. On the back, you will see hundreds of people from Venezuela yelling libertad. Incredible. You know, I've been talking to a lot of my Venezuelan friends, and you know, they're worried. They're worried about their families. You know, there is a you know, particularly there's a lot of movement right now in the part of Caracas. And of course, the dictator started going after the opposition candidate, that is Maria Corina Machado, who she won. And they said, we are going to arrest her. And we are going, as soon as she gets arrested, she will be tortured. Like they are known in Venezuela do. When they arrest people, they torture them. This is a post that she made when the elections were made. And she posted right here. On the right, you can see right. I'm sorry, this is a different post. This was a post from the congressman of South Florida. And this is a congressman of South Florida. Her name is Maria Elvira Salazar. And says, I'm gonna translate the post of this congresswoman from Florida. I'm gonna put the political candidate Maria Corina Machado in a moment. But this is what she said. She said, a message to the military of Venezuela. The people of Venezuela have spoke. They don't want Maduro. Just comply with the populist vote. It is the right time to be on the right side of history. You have an opportunity, and it is now. On the bottom it says in English, unbelievable everything that is going on. Ron DeSantis, as you see right here, also posted, said, the corrupt Maduro regime, empowered by the Biden-Harris administration, has deprived the Venezuelan people of their chance to elect a government that represents them. America should not be leaning with Maduro's pockets and propping up his communist dictatorship by bullying oil from Venezuela, buying oil from Venezuela. The crisis in Venezuela, it is the latest failure of the Biden-Harris foreign policy and Green New Deal agenda. This was the other one. It's aggravating, but a lot of people are pissed off and they're mad. At least 2 Venezuelan gangs have posted videos on social media to warn Maduro, the military, do not harm innocents or they will strike back. One of the gangs states their video, my advice is to listen to the people, barricade yourselves in your commands, and let the people decide and place and remove whoever they want. Now, this is what happens when you have a communist regime and a dictator in your government. This is what happens. You have instability. You have violent groups that, immediately they come up and they start explaining, they start talking. And now everybody's like, hey, might as well. We are in there. Let's just make our voices heard. Or it can be a setup. It can be, a trap. It can be the same Maduro regime trying to destabilize the situation and trying to, create the hysteria, as they call it, so the Maduro regime will have a justification to say this is what the right wing it is causing. They're causing instability and they're causing insecurity for us. It's a strategy. It's a good strategy. For every progressive mercenary liberal, we already know your strategies. There's no way you can get away with them. In Venezuela, the Venezuelan people have woken up. And in America, American people have woken up. They know what you're doing. Then we go to another post. This was Stephen Miller says right here, The Democrat Party just installed a socialist, and it's a nominee who received 0 votes. They canceled the primary, refused to hold a new one. No one even knows who is running the country. Has there ever been a bigger political scandal in U.S. history? Then you go right here to this. On the platform of Maduro, they took away on the platform of X, formerly known as Twitter, the silver verified government institution checkmark has been taken off from Nicolas Maduro. Of course, Elon Musk has been one of the ones that has been supporting conservative and also, just good people to be installed in government. And let me just tell you, not only Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg also canceled Maduro on Instagram. It's not only Elon Musk that is canceling Maduro, it's everybody. Every single one knows that what is this dictator is doing to this country. Let me just put this video, and it was released by, I believe, the Epoch Times.
Venezuelan presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez's campaign says it has obtained more than 70% of the tally sheets from Sunday's election, with more than 6 million votes for Gonzalez and only about 2.7 million for incumbent President Nicolas Maduro.
Con lo que ya tenemos.
We have enough. It's enough. The difference was so big. The difference was overwhelming.
Venezuela's electoral authority said yesterday Maduro won a third 6-year term with 51% of the vote, extending a quarter century of socialist rule. Thousands across Venezuela took to the streets to protest the results. Police used tear gas to disperse some crowds. Maduro reacted by saying he knows how to confront protests and defeat those he deems violent.
We already know this movie. So once more, along with the civil, military, and police union, we are acting.
Por eso yo decía, esta película la conocemos.
We already know how they operate.
White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says the U.S. shares many of the same concerns being heard on Venezuela's streets.
What we want to see is a harder look at the data and a more detailed tabulation of the votes, which is the same thing that so many Venezuelans want as well. They deserve transparency. They turned out and drove.
It's a video of the Epoch Times. My manager has been doing an excellent job on every post. This was the last one. This was two former military. And I would like to put more videos, but I can't. I will get censored by YouTube if I put the radical protest has been happening. But these are two former military, two allegedly non-active Venezuelan army captains, Javier Nieto and Juan Carlos Nieto Quintero, sent a message to the Venezuelan armed forces. It is time to make the right decisions in this historic moment. It is evident that we have a new elected president. Huge. What's been happening in Venezuela, it is an example to every single one of us that people want to fight for their country. They actually do. I don't know if you guys have been listening to me for the past years, but I've been saying consistently, it is beautiful, Venezuela. I have never been there, but a lot of the people have shown me like videos and pictures of the hundreds of thousands of migrants that I have walked. And these people love their country so much. If that country was good financially, good jobs, security, they will not be leaving. Believe me, they won't. They will not. And this is, a thing that I already have it, so documented. Venezuelan people, they know that the problem is not the sanctions. They know that the problem has been always the communists and the dictators, Chavez and now Maduro. The people have woken up and they know actually who is the problem. And he's losing. And he will lose. Every single citizen, they're fighting. Children are fighting. There was a video of a woman 60 plus years of age. She was hit so many times on her body with rubber bullets. And she removed her shirt. And it was just so horrendous to see that. This is tyrannical governments, what they will do if they're in power. And they will not leave power. They will not try to leave power. So calling for people that they want communism and they want socialism and they want all this stupidity. That is what it is, stupidity. This is what will happen to your country. Inevitable, it will happen to your country. I posted a video also on X about a child. Let me see if I can find it right here on Facebook. A child explaining about communism. This interview, I did it in the Darian Gap. It was an interview that I did with a young kid who was 12 years of age. And this 12-year-old basically explained what communism is. Let me see if I can try to find a video. And it's just unbelievable, his explanation. It's just, I put some captions on this video. I don't know if it was uploaded to my platform in Facebook. I don't want to go to Twitter and type Twitter and all this kind of stuff, but I think that it was uploaded. So I'm just going by one. Meanwhile, that we are talking right here. It was just so amazing. I did multiple interviews with children and in the Darian Gap, multiple interviews. And these interviews, every single interview that it was done, every single interview, every single child that I was interviewing, these childs that were explaining Maduro's a bad guy. We don't want him as a president. He's the worst. He's the worst of the worst. He has never been a good guy. He has never done anything for us. He's always been a disaster. And it's a reality what he has done. It's a complete disaster. I'm trying to find a video. It's not here on Facebook. Sadly, it is not here on Facebook. I'm going to try to type Twitter, X platform, and see if I can get it on X. I need to go a little bit more down, I think so. Let me see if I can find it for people that they're just joining in. I'm sorry, I'm going little by little, one by one. Let's see if I can find this video, because I want to put this video. Whoever hasn't seen this video, you need to see this video. It's just unbelievable. The interview with his children. I don't know if my manager uploaded this video. I'm trying to find it right here. And I think that she did not upload this video over here on Facebook. Yes, it is right here. Here it is. Listen to this kid. Just listen to this kid. And this goes out to every progressive, mercenary, activist, Hispanic liberal, or whoever you want to call it. Not Hispanic, wherever, white liberal, whatever you want to call it, man. Whatever you want to call it. This is for you. This is for you. This is for you. It is not, this is for you. Directly to you. This is the child from Venezuela that I interviewed in the Darian Gap. Look at the captions of what he's saying. This is exactly what is happening right now in Venezuela. These are beautiful people. The Venezuelan people are beautiful people, man. Beautiful people. Listen to this interview. It's just amazing to see it. And what he says. Look at the captions. Just look at the captions.
Dime una opinión, ¿qué está pasando en Venezuela?
Mire, le voy a ser sincero. La economía está abajo totalmente. La comida es cara. Ya de por sí todo es caro, pues. Lo que viene siendo $1 ahorita, a lo mejor le puede valer varias cosas en otros países. En Venezuela no alcanza para nada.
¿Qué piensas tú de tu presidente?
No sirve. No ayuda. Hay que sacar.
Hay que sacarlo.
Sí, hay que sacarlo. Desde hace rato, pero vivimos una dictadura. Todos los años, siempre lo mismo. Siempre votan en contra y hacen trampa.
O sea, y el hombre dice que todo está bien allá. Que
todo está bien y nada está bien. Todo está bien, pero nada está bien.
¿Sabes lo que es comunismo tú?
Comunismo, sí.
¿Sí?
Algo puedes escuchar.
Pero ya lo entiendes, tú a tu edad.
No, o sea, he escuchado qué es y sé qué es, pero nunca lo... Sí, pero un comunismo que dejó de servir, por así decirlo, desde hace mucho tiempo. Porque
¿Sabe el comunismo lo que tratan de meterle a la cabeza a los niños? De decir que sí funciona, pero sabe lo que es verdaderamente todo lo contrario, que no funciona.
sí, o sea, el comunismo en Venezuela no sirve. A lo mejor países como Rusia, China, que lo utilizan, les sirvió, pero en Venezuela...
Eres muy inteligente. Vaya, qué barbaridad, qué inteligente. ¿Tuvieras un deseo tú para Venezuela, que fuera?
Volver a como todo fue antes, tipo mandato de Marcos Pérez Jiménez, cuando el país era potencia y el bolívar era más que el dólar.
Qué bárbaro. Qué bárbaro este chamaco, bro. Qué bárbaro, qué inteligente, qué triste.
I hugged the little kid, and I will tell you why. And I will tell you why. Why I hugged this 12-year-old. Because there's sometimes people, in the live feed that they want communism and they want socialism. This is a 12-year-old that is explaining to every single person out there what communism will do to your country, what a dictator will do to your country. He actually understands at 12 years old, because he's lived it and because he lives it in Venezuela, what communism will do to you. He actually knows his history, that before Chavez, the communist dictator Chavez, and then Maduro, before that, the Bolivar at one point was more valuable than the dollar. For God's sake, when has that happened? He actually knows more than every single Antifa libtard, every single Democrat congressman and congresswoman, every single progressive, mercenary, activist, Hispanic or white liberal. He actually knows more than that. And if you want to test me, come and walk with me on a caravan, or come and walk with me on the Darian jungle. Just put your boots on, man, and walk with me. Let's see if you have it. Or let's go to the borders of Venezuela and see the people and talk to them. Like they're calling Nayib Bukele an imperialist because he re-elected himself. Go to El Salvador and ask the people if they're happy about their president. Just go over there. Why don't you go over there? 12 years of age, explaining what communism and what communism will do to your country. 12 years. I made multiple interviews. Multiple interviews. To children. And just to address this comment, I've been through derogatory remarks. Who's talking to you, first and foremost? I've been through Central America. My roots are deep. Well, congratulations. Have you been to the Darian Gap? To every single one of you that wants to talk about immigration, when you have the capacities and you have been through what I have been through, don't even step into my game. You have never been into the Darian Gap. 4 times I have walked that place. 4 freaking times. And more than 11 caravans. You're not on my level. When you have experienced the suffering, the real suffering of people, and understand the reality that this is not about a sanction. This is about a communist dictator who auto-proclaimed himself on the 28th of July again president when he lost 70% to 30%. And actually the whole world sees it. Every single part of the world, they see it. And you want to call it out? I wanted to put this on the live feed. This was a gift. I remember this gift. This was a gift from a migrant from Venezuela on a caravan. And after we finished the caravan, he gave it to me. And he said, you deserve it more than a lot of the Venezuelan people. You help us a lot. What is happening right now to the Venezuelan people, it really hurts me because I've been through a lot with them, through the worst situations, bad situations. I have seen decomposed bodies inside of the jungle. I've seen children drowning in Venezuela, women drowning, men dying of Venezuela. Been in a gunfight with the Cartel Clan del Golfo in the middle of the jungle in the Darian Gap with bullets flying on top of our heads, and a Venezuelan migrant, that she is my friend Kiani's, shot in the stomach, me seeing her possibly dying in front of me. Documenting migrant ladies that they were raped and abused in the middle of the jungle, going through all of this torture because of this communist dictator. This communist dictator who has destroyed that country, who is trying to destroy that country. And that country is fighting for their lives right now. We should look up to these people right now. They don't have a Second Amendment. They don't have rights to possess a gun. They're fighting with their hearts and with their voices. They're being tortured with tear gas. They're sending military tanks in the middle of the streets right now. You know, these lefties, they talk about, oh, they're militarizing the border. What do you talk about this? That he's militarizing and torturing the citizens. No, it goes against the narrative. It's unbelievable, the multiple hundreds of violations of human rights that are happening inside of the Venezuela country right now. The multiple violations of human rights. Innocent people are being arrested. Innocent people are being tortured. And if the United States of America continues on this pathway of progressive liberalism, this is where you're going. It's going to be really hard to remove these people if you let them be in government. They're not going to let it go. And they're going to pander every time like they have done. This is a comment in Spanish for the progressive mercenary liberal who was in this live feed. Señores, recuerden que Maduro es un asesino, que no se le olvide lo del puente Laguno. Es más, lo pueden buscar en Wikipedia. Allí están fotos cuando él disparaba. Está tratado con asesinos. Saying, gentlemen, don't, remember when Maduro, he's an assassin. Do not forget about the time in the Puente Llaguno. As a matter of fact, you can look it up in Wikipedia and you can find photos when he was shooting at innocent people. These people are assassins. These are real people, man. Buy me a coffee. It is right there. Pin in the chat if people want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund. Buy me a coffee. It is right there. Pin in the chat. Completely appreciate. We're about to travel soon, so your contributions are much needed for us to go to where we want to go. And believe me, I am so full to go here. I am so 1,000,000% decided to go here. I don't know how I'm going to get in, but I'm going over there to fight for these people, to broadcast, to record, like I have done in the middle of the jungle, like I have done in the middle of caravans, like I have done in Central America. They deserve a voice. These people are fighting with their voices and just lifting their hands. And they are willing, sadly, to die. They are willing to die for freedom. They are willing to die to live. They are so tired of fighting, tired, that they continue to fight, tired of fighting for the same purpose that they are tired. It is so sad. God bless these people. God bless these people. And Lord, you have the power. You're the one. You're the one that has the travel. You are the one that has you're the one that has the control. you're the one that has the steering wheel. You're the one that has the steering wheel, you know. So God bless you. Buy me a coffee. It is right there, pinned in the chat. People want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund. We are going to be traveling soon to a part of of South America. Ultimately, we want to go also to another place. We're trying to go to different places, but we cannot do this alone. It's just it's really difficult. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to do it independently and alone. Before I go, I do this regularly on the live feed, but I will do it right now. I will do it right now for the Venezuelan people. Psalm 91. There you go. Hola hermano, buenas noches. Soy venezolano. Me gustaría que compartiera una noticia. Te mando aquí, mira qué bonito lo que tengo aquí. Saying hi, my brother. I'm from Venezuela. I would like to share with you some news. Look what the beautiful thing that I got right here. Déjame leo el Salmo 92, que es para tu gente, mi hermano. Lo voy a leer en inglés. Let me read Psalm 92, that is for your people, my brother. I am going to read it in English. Y ahorita te contesto, mi hermano, and I will answer you right now. Psalm 91, you are my refuge and my fortress. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, you are my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely he will deliver you from the snare of the faller and from the deadly plague. He will cover you with his feathers under his wings, and you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a rampart. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the calamity that destroys at noon. Though 1,000 by fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, no harm will come near you. You will only see it with your eyes and witness the punishment of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord your dwelling, my refuge, the Most High. No evil will fall you, no plague will approach your tent. For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and cobra. You will trample the young lion and serpent. Because he loves me, I will deliver him. Because he knows my name, I will protect him. When he calls out me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Psalm 91. Lord, we are living in difficult times with difficult governments and difficult leaders. You are the one. You are the all watcher, the all seer, the all seeker. And you are the one that it can protect this country. Put your angels around him and around them as they are fighting for dear life to be released from this dictator. Let the Venezuelan people come back to their homes, Lord. Let them go back to their homes with their family members, with their mothers, with their fathers, their sisters, and their brothers. Let them go back to where they are from. They want to be happy. They want to be free. They want to live life. Lord, we beg you for your forgiveness every day. But also, we want to know if we are worthy to ask you for this, if you can help the Venezuelan people to be free from this dictator that you know that is full of evil and it is full of evilness. Lord, protect these people as they're fighting for dear life. I will say it in Spanish, just real quick. Do not go away. Nuestro Señor Jesucristo, por favor, ayuda a este pueblo. Este pueblo tan hermoso. Este pueblo que me ha demostrado a mí el cariño cuando no tenía ni por qué demostrármelo. Esta gente que me ha demostrado a mí amor cuando no tenía ni por qué dármelo. Esta gente que me ha abierto su corazón cuando no tenía ni por qué abrírmelo. Estas personas, Dios mío, que quieren regresar a su país, que quieren vivir la vida, que quieren vivir la libertad, que quieren ser libres, que quieren ver a su madre, a su padre, a sus hijos, a sus hermanos, a sus familiares, que quieren volver a su tierra, quieren volver a amar a su bandera. Y a todos los que están ahorita en este momento de lucha, Señor, te pedimos por favor que protejas a cada uno de los hogares y a por cada una de las personas que están tratando de buscar no solamente la libertad, sino están buscando vivir y encontrarte a ti de nuevo. Es lo que están buscando. Créeme, Señor, que te están buscando a ti, no están buscando a nadie más. Están buscando al Señor. Y sabemos que ese lugar está dirigido por un hombre que está lleno de maldad. Tú eres el único, Señor, el que mira todo, el que sabe todo. Tú eres el alfa y el omega, el que cubre y el que protege. Tú eres nuestro líder y serás siempre nuestro líder. Tú eres nuestro protector y eres el que protege el corazón, la mente y todo nuestro ser. Tú eres el que dirige nuestros pensamientos y dirige nuestro corazón. Tú eres el que va a salvar a ese pueblo. No va a ser otra persona más que tú. Bajo tu guianza y tus ángeles del cielo protegerás a cada venezolano que está luchando en este momento por salvar su vida y salvar ese país y volver a regresar a su país tan hermoso y tan precioso. Sálvalo, Señor, y protégelo, Señor, en este momento que están pasando por un momento duro y luchando contra este tirano que no quiere soltar el poder. Confúndelo, Señor, al enemigo, que no sepan qué hacer, y dale sabiduría al que tiene el bien y que quiere gobernar con el corazón, pero sobre todo con la palabra de Dios. En nombre tuyo, Señor Jesús. Amén. God bless you, every single one of you. Thank you for joining in. You know, this is a really difficult time for the Venezuelan people. I really, man, it's so hard to see this, man. It's so hard to see this. So hard to see this. So hard. For people that are watching in Spanish, es muy difícil ver esto. Muy difícil. Really hard. I will say it in English and Spanish. My goodbyes. Mi despedida la voy a hacer en inglés y en español. My goodbye, I will say it in English and Spanish. Both languages. Lo voy a hacer en los dos lenguajes. I think I have the ability to do so. Creo que tengo la habilidad para poder hacerlo. I fell in love with these people. Yo me enamoré de estas personas. Because they are one of the most wonderful people that I ever met in my life. Son las personas más hermosas y una de las personas más bellas que he conocido en mi vida. I have walked with these people so many miles. He caminado con estas personas miles de kilómetros. I have walked with these people in the most dangerous places. He caminado con estas personas en los lugares más peligrosos. I have carried children that they're not even mine, that they're from Venezuela, just to help them to not drown. He cargado niños de Venezuela por ríos dentro de la selva, simplemente para que no se ahoguen. Y estos no son mis hijos. And so many times I have asked myself, why am I doing this? Y muchas veces yo me he preguntado, ¿por qué hago esto con esta gente en particular? Why am I doing this with these particular people? ¿Por qué lo estoy haciendo con esta gente en particular. And it is not me. Y no soy yo. It is always, and it has always been God. Siempre ha sido Dios. No ha sido nadie más. I'm just a tool for him. Yo solamente soy una herramienta de él. As every single one of you are also. Así como todos ustedes son también. Me parte el alma ver a ese pueblo sufrir así. It really makes me feel sad to see those people suffer like that. Me parte el alma ver a los niños de Venezuela sufrir así. It really bothers me to see the children suffer like that. These people want to go back home. Esta gente quiere regresar a su país. These people want to live free. Esta gente quiere vivir la libertad. These people love their country. Esta gente ama su país. So we come today, así es que venimos el día de hoy, to ask God for forgiveness. Pedirle a Dios que nos disculpe y nos perdone. And as we are asking for forgiveness, así es como estamos pidiendo que nos perdone, we ask for him, nosotros le pedimos, that he can save this country, que por favor ayude a salvar este país. God bless Venezuela. Que Dios bendiga a Venezuela. Sí se puede, muchachos. You can do it, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. God bless you all. Stay safe. We will see each other on the next incoming days. As we are going to be broadcasting for every single one of you. God bless you all. Share the video, like the video, share the video, like the video. Hit that bell button on YouTube. Hit that like button on Facebook. Buy me a coffee. It's right there if you guys want to contribute. Thank you so much. I think somebody contributed. And I oh my God, I'm so sorry. D bought me 3 coffees. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bought me 3 coffees. God bless you. Prayers to every single one of you. We're going on 1 hour. I will close the show by saying thank you for every single one for watching. God bless you all. I will go live on TikTok for the Venezuelan people just to say a prayer of Psalm 192, 91. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission.